flaps up.
Yep.
Heat.
Got the pull the heat on here. Start warming up the cabin.
Get avionics.
Those are on.
ATIS.
All right. So 26.4. I have it up in the active. So let's turn the volume. We're gonna listen to it.
Ground control frequency until advised. Advise on initial contact. You have information, Charlie.
Information, Charlie. So now we're gonna repeat it. First thing is gonna be the
Milwaukee
wind.
Mitchell Airport ATIS information, Charlie.
After the time.
1652 Zulu. Wind 290 at 8.
90 at 8 knots.
Visibility 10.
10 mile
Clear
visibility.
below 12,000.
Sky clear below
Temperature
12,000.
-1. Dew point -1. Altimeter 3001.
3001. So if we set this to 3001, it should read about 670 feet, which it does.
25 right.
Now they're telling us the runways they're using, 25 left and 25 right. So we know we can take 25 right from Echo again because they're using both of them.
PTWR out of service.
Oh.
Transponder is required to be on while operating on runways.
That's Charlie. You want to listen to it one more time?
Bird activity vicinity airport.
Then they give you some notes afterwards, like there's birds in the vicinity.
Taxiing departing aircraft remain on ground.
Instructions for pilots.
Advise on initial contact. You have information, Charlie.
Oh shit, I forgot my sunglasses.
Oh.
Yep.
Milwaukee Mitchell Airport ATIS information, Charlie. 16.
You want to go get him?
Good Charlie.
Wind 2
I don't need to.
at 8. Visibility 10. Sky clear below 12,000. Temperature -1. Dew point -1. Altimeter 3001.
Okay.
Visual approach runway 25 left. Landing runway 25 left. 25 right. Departing runway 25 left.
So they're telling you what landing and
right.
runways they're using.
Simultaneous operation to parallel runways in use.
Meaning they're using parallel runways.
PTWR out of service. Transponder is required to be on while operating on runways and taxiways. Bird activity vicinity airport. All aircraft read back all hold short instructions. All taxiing departing aircraft remain on ground control frequency until advised. Advise on initial contact. You have information, Charlie.
Charlie. All right. So now we're going to go to ground, or clearance, sorry. So that's 20.8. So go ahead and dial in 20.8. And then put it in the active. There it is. Now, do you have your cheat sheet with you? Or let's see if you can stumble through this first call. Just so you're making one call, Milwaukee clearance, Cessna 739 Alpha Papa. When they come back, you're going to tell them 9 Alpha Papa, VFR to the west, 270 degrees, request 3,000 feet. We have ATIS and Charlie, or Cessna 172. So I gotta update that.
Where do I see 172?
Well.
Okay, just know it's 172.
Yeah. So sorry, I'm kind
good.
of the 152 copy, but most of it's there.
We have information.
Charlie. So one call, let them come back to you, and then tell them.
Okay. Milwaukee clearance, Cessna 739 Alpha Papa.
Delta 8915 Monitor Tower, have a good day.
Is that us?
No.
Wisconsin 3935, you can expect no delay at the end other than the traffic out there. You can monitor tower. And November 739 Alpha Papa, go ahead with your request.
9 Alpha Papa VFR to the west at 270 degrees, requesting 3,000 feet. We have ATIS information, Charlie. We are Cessna 172.
Beautiful. And then he's going to come back and give us this information, and we'll just read it back.
739 Alpha Papa.
I'll read it back.
What's your heading going to be approximately?
270 for 9AP.
Roger.
And you told him that.
Cessna 739 Alpha Papa, maintain VFR below 3,000, departure frequency 125.35, squawk 4621.
4621 on the box and 2535 on the way out below 3,000 for 9AP.
November 9 Alpha Papa, read back is correct.
All right. And what was it, 4623?
Yeah.
So we're going to put that in the transponder. Now that's going to match up our frequency, and then the frequency they gave us was 2535. That's the departure frequency. That's who we talked to after tower.
So the squawk is...
Yep, the squawk is this. That's, again, that gives them a little dot on their radar. It gives them a code so they know that we're that dot.
Okay.
And you can print out multiple copies and start writing those in there, or just use this one over and over till it's filled up, and you know.
Yep.
All right, so now we switch to ground, which is 21.8. So it's kind of handy. So what you can do is switch this one back into standby, and then big knob one number up. 21.8, then back to active, right? So that's kind of why they designed it that way.
Oh, cool.
And then if you want to try that one, you can. Or
Piedmont 6005 Milwaukee
I'm
ground,
just
runway 25
reading
left.
this off.
yeah, just walk around. It says
Bravo,
739 Alpha Papa
Romeo,
signature request
Alpha,
taxi.
Echo,
If you want,
Mike,
it would be helpful to say we'd like 25 right from Echo, because otherwise they might send us somewhere else. So if you can add that into that first call
5 right.
from Echo.
Echo.
Request taxi 25 right from Echo.
Oh man. Alright, I'll try it.
Right.
Request taxi 25 right.
Yeah, walk around. It says 739 Alpha Papa at signature request taxi 25 right Echo.
25 right Echo. Okay. Milwaukee ground, Cessna 75. Nope.
739 Alpha Papa at signature request 25 right from Echo.
Sorry.
November 739 Alpha
Okay.
Papa Milwaukee ground, runway 25 right at Echo. Taxi via Foxtrot Zulu Echo, and do you need time to do a run-up?
Fox Zulu Echo, yes sir. We could do that in Zulu and call you back if that works for 9 Alpha Papa.
Papa, that's approved as requested. Just advise ready for departure on this frequency.
We'll call you back for 9 Alpha Papa. All right, we got our clearance. Foxtrot Zulu Echo, you know the route. We're going to do a run-up in the Zulu pad over there, so...
Okay.
So you can kind of start to see how having a pen and paper would be handy, right?
Yeah.
On your knee pad here, and a lot of people just have it right here, and they're just kind of
Yeah.
stuff down, so...
For next time.
Yep, all right. You got the airplane, your controls, and they can taxi us over to 25 right, and we'll just keep the checklist up here, because I'm going to have to keep running back for it otherwise.
Piedmont 6005. You'll be number 2
There's
at the
a
end behind the other
knee pockets
regional
right
jet
here you
that's
can put
currently on runway 13.
Stuff in that
Tower.
pocket right there. All right, your controls, hand on the throttle, steering with your feet. Try not to touch the yoke right now. We'll talk about how to hold the controls for taxi later. Wind is light right now. So we're crossing this line here. When we cross this yellow solid and dashed line, we're now going to be on the active taxiways.
Okay.
Before we were on what's called a non-movement area, which we can do whatever we want over there without talking to anybody. But once we're on here, we have to talk to somebody.
Okay.
So this is a big Zulu pad here. We can just go into that clear spot again, and we'll run the checklist for the run-up. Stop the airplane straight ahead when you're ready. I'll pull out that run-up checklist, and we'll go through the run-up checklist again.
All right. Brakes.
Those work.
Fuel.
Make sure
Trim.
it's on both. Visually check it, touch it sometimes if you want. Just make sure it's there.
Yep. Trim.
Making sure it's set for takeoff.
Yep. Flight controls.
All right. That's where you're going to head your left hand up on the yoke. You're going to go left, checking that aileron goes up. The other one goes down. Right? They're free of movement. There's no binding or noises or anything weird.
Yep.
You don't have any control locks left in. Now you want to make sure it goes all the way back and forward as well. Right? There have been
Calling ground, say again.
accidents in Gulfstream jets because people didn't do this check and let the control lock in.
Milwaukee ground.
They went to take off with full power and they couldn't do anything and they ran into the end of the runway. Trees blew up. So it seems silly, doesn't it? Like, why am I doing this? It's so important, and everything you have on a checklist, there is a really good reason to do it, and it is so simple. One little tiny thing like that can be the difference between life and death, right? So,
Yeah.
make sure you're disciplining yourself, taking your time to you're checking these things for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Good. So,
All right. Mixture. Oh wait. Run up. Wait.
yep, you're good. Flight
Run up.
controls.
Flight
instruments.
controls.
So
Instruments.
we're checking these 6 instruments. Remember, this is your airspeed indicator, your attitude indicator, your altimeter, your vertical speed, your compass, your directional gyro rather, and your turn coordinator. So this should read 0. This should just be level and erect, right? It's not lopsided or anything.
Yep.
This should read field elevation. So you set this when you get the ATIS and you get the altimeter setting.
Yep.
You set this so that it reads field elevation, which it does approximately.
Okay.
This should read 0. This you want to set to the compass, right? So the compass is reading, what do you think it's reading right now? About 180? So push that in, kind of got a torque that, and set it so it's about 180. Again, this is vacuum driven, this is magnetic, so this is more stable in flight, which is why we have this. Perfect.
Oh, right there?
Yep.
Oh no, we're on the other side, hey?
Just a little Nudge on the other side. Right there. Yep, perfect.
Okay.
And this should be level, and the ball should be about in the middle when you're stopped. So that looks good.
All right, we got mixture, best power.
So that can just go full rich all the way.
All right, full rich. Primer in and locked. Yes. 1700 RPM.
Hold those toe brakes nice and smooth, run it up to about 1700. Make sure your engine runs nice and smooth. That's 1200.
Alright.
Alright. Good, keep coming up. There it is. Now we're gonna check those mags. So it's just one click to the left, make sure there's about 100 RPM drop, it's nice and smooth sounding. Yeah, now one click back to both. And now 2 clicks to the right side, so 1, 2. Same kind of drop, nice and smooth, back to both. Good. Now we're going to check that carb heat, make sure we're actually getting some warm air into the engine, which we are. There's about 50 RPM drop.
Alright.
We have a vacuum.
Suction, yes.
Amps and volts should read 0. Oil pressure and temperature are in the green, right above the amp meter there.
Yep.
And then idle, we're going to just want to bring it back all the way to idle, make sure it wants to idle. Nice and smooth. It does, now bring it back up to 1,000. Never want to leave the engine on idle for too long, you just want to always route that 1,000 RPM mark.
Alright.
The run-up's complete. So now, when we get cleared for takeoff, we can do this pre-takeoff checklist. We can do it now because we're going to be right at the end of the runway. So,
Okay.
briefing. Basically, we have the weather, right?
Yep.
We're taking off to the west. Basically, I'm gonna do the takeoff with you again. The winds are slightly out of the left side, but again, we're gonna take the runway center line. Our toes are gonna come off the top of the pedals down to the bottom of the pedals. Our heels are gonna be on the floor, and we're going to smoothly advance power till it's all the way forward. And we're gonna be looking outside, and we're gonna be using our feet on the rudders to keep the nose straight. With our hand up on the yoke here, and then when we get as we accelerate, we're gonna add some back pressure, and we're just going to feel that around 50 knots, keep adding back pressure, the airplane's going to lift into the air. Then we're flying at that point. Now you need to add some right rudder to keep that ball in the middle, and we're going to pitch for 70 knots with full power, right?
Why right rudder again?
Because the propeller is spinning this way, and it makes the airplane want to go this way, and so the airplane at full power with the nose up, it wants to roll left, and the right rudder keeps that from happening. There's actually 3 other reasons it happens, which we'll talk about when we have our aerodynamics discussion, but just know that for a climb at full power, you need right rudder to keep the ball in the middle, and you want to, generally, for most normal flight circumstances, you want to try to keep the ball in the middle. We'll talk about other situations when you wouldn't later, but now, ball in the middle.
Yep.
Step on the ball, right? If the ball is left or right, you step on the left or the right rudder correspondingly.
Yep.
And then basically it's going to be your controls. If I need to take the airplane from you, I'm going to say my flight controls, and that means just let go of everything, I'll fly. When I give back to you, I'll just say your controls. Right? Other than that, well, we're good to go.
Going to half flight.
Alright.
Charlie 79 Milwaukee ground taxi flight via Alpha Echo.
The next frequency we're going to need is tower. So I'll put that in standby.
Hold short of runway.
And you can call them up if you want. You can say Milwaukee ground 739 Alpha in Zulu, ready to taxi.
Charlie, hold short.
So we're at,
79.
ready to taxi?
Well, we're still on ground because we did our run-up.
VFR at 4,500.
So after the run-up,
125.
we're not. This isn't in here because this is kind of an intermediate thing. But basically, you're going to be here in a minute. But you can just call them and say 9 Alpha Papa in Zulu, ready to taxi.
9 Alpha Papa
In Zulu,
ready to taxi.
Yep. Just wait till there's like a break in the communication.
9 Alpha Papa in Zulu, ready to taxi.
Beautiful.
November 9er Alpha Papa squawk 4621.
4621 now in the box for 9 Alpha Papa. Okay.
Cessna 9 Alpha Papa, runway 25 right at Echo taxi via Zulu.
Zulu to 25 right from Echo 9 Alpha Papa. Okay.
November 9 Alpha Papa, monitor tower.
Over to local. All right. All right, you got the airplane. Taxiing up to our runway. So yeah, just kind of you want to ride that center line. Put that line visually kind of like right between your body.
739 Alpha Papa, Milwaukee Tower, turn right heading 270, runway 25 right at Echo, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, 25 right from Echo, right turn 270, 9 Alpha Papa. All right, we're clear to take off. So I'll take this. We're just gonna do this.
Do I stop here or no?
Nope, you can rock and roll. So take the runway. We're clear, finals clear, there's nobody on it, nobody coming. The wind is actually going to be out of our right a little. I'll probably have a little bit of right aileron while we roll. But again, once we take that center line, come off the brakes completely. And you're going to be smoothly advancing full power. You can just look outside, right? All the power. Keep it straight with your feet. I want you to ride that center line as we accelerate down the runway with your feet, right? Beautiful. Little right aileron, just keep it straight with your feet. It's going to want to go left a little bit, right? There, now start pulling back a little bit. She's ready to fly. Pull her back, pull her back, pull her back, pull her back. There she is. Good, now pitch for 70 knots. That right rudder in for the ball, and just keep the wings level as we climb out. Not bad. Alright, we're going to just roll to line up with that road out there, just like we did yesterday. To the right, good. 70 knot climb, ball in the middle, wings level, tracking the road. And you may need to adjust your heading a little bit to track that road, but you'll kind of gauge that as we gain altitude. So basically, tower just gets us off the ground, right? Pretty soon here he's going to switch us to departure.
November 9 Alpha Papa, contact departure.
Over to departure, 9 Alpha Papa. There we go.
573 Milwaukee approach. Good morning, Mr.
So when we talk to departure, tell them the altitude we're at, the altitude we're going to. And that's basically it. And then they say radar contact, meaning they can see us on their radar screen. Milwaukee departure, Cessna 739 Alpha Papa, 1,900, climbing 3,000 westbound.
Cessna 739 Alpha Papa, Milwaukee departure, your radar contact.
Yeah, see how the airspeed's going below 70? You pitched up a lot there because you're trying to get to 70, and what we call that kind of chasing the airspeed. So you need to make a small change and make sure that the airspeed indicator is trending in the direction you want it to go. But if you pull up too much, it's going to bleed off way more than you wanted it to, right? And then you're going to get too slow, so. And we'll just take it all the way up to 3,000. And then we'll do the pitch power trim to level off once we get up there.
Renee Alpha Papa, what heading did you want to be on?
We just like to go westbound, clear the Charlie for some maneuvers. We'll be back inbound after that for 9 Alpha. We can stay on this heading.
Okay, thanks, sounds good. Southwest 2247, you're 10 miles from OCB, cross OCB at 6,000, cleared our Navy Yankee 25 left approach.
There's 3,000. The pitch to stop that altimeter from moving and let it accelerate, start bringing that power out. It's about 2,200 RPM. Hold that nose down. Don't want to let that nose come up, right? Hold that nose down. See how we're still climbing? Really got to hold the nose down. And once you've got that nose where you want it, you hold it there and then trim it so you're not pushing as much putting as much force on the control stick.
You can depart
Hold that nose down.
Vector for the
Takes a lot more force than you think it does, yep.
Southwest 573, just going to maintain 4,000.
Still climbing.
Southwest 2247, contact the tower on 124.57, good day.
Good, yeah. Good, hold that nose down where you want it and trim off the pressure. Don't use the trim to put the nose where you want it. hold the nose where you want it. You know, use your muscles. It's going to be a little bit of a workout sometimes. It's just how it is until you get the trim down. That's better.
Yep.
Cool. All right. I want you to take that cruise checklist out of that pocket, or that checklist, and we're going to look at the cruise. I'm going to roll us a little bit to the west here. What does that cruise checklist say?
Cruise, power, mixture, instruments.
Okay, so power. We got the power set where we wanted, about 2100 RPM. That's good. Now we're going to lean the mixture. This is something we didn't talk about yesterday. It was very important when we're up here at 3,000 feet. Right now, all the gas is going to the engine.
Yep.
Because the air is thinner up here, there's a portion of that gas that's just blowing through the engine and evaporating or going out the exhaust. It's not getting used, right?
Yeah.
So because it's carbureted, so we're going to lean it out so that we're not using all that gas and we're getting to a perfect mixture of air and fuel.
Yes.
To do that, we take this and we dial it out slowly, just until we see that or hear the engine get rough or a little RPM drop. Now, obviously, if we go too fast, we kill the engine. We don't want to do that.
So spinning it takes it out slow?
Yep, it's called a vernier. Yep, this is a vernier knob. So it's got the big coarse adjustment with the button.
Yep.
And then you have the fine tuning with the dial. So dialing it out, see that drop right there? You hear that?
Yes.
Now I'm going to bring it in about 2 turns back to its peak RPM, and that's a perfectly lean mixture.
Excellent.
We also have something up here called exhaust gauge gas temperature.
Yes.
That tells us when this is at its peak that we're lean appropriately as well, but that's a little more advanced. So
Convoy 34.
better to use the tactile method.
To maintain 10,003.
All right, so we did the mixture, power, and instruments. Are our instruments reading how we want them to? These 6, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Pretty. Bring us up a little bit, about 2,200 RPM is where we want to be. Good. All right, once we're abeam Muskego Lake, you see Big Lake Muskego out there?
Yes.
That's going to be kind of our reference for a lot of our training. We can turn towards it.
Southwest 1069 Milwaukee approach. Good morning, Mitchell. Produce 3002. Got stepped on there. 8 is Charlie is current.
Oh, we're not quite abeam it yet, so let's just go until we're like actually abeam it. Yep.
Southwest 1069, thanks. You can proceed direct Fahey vector for the visual approach 25 left.
And I'm going to add a little bit of a challenge to you. When we're abeam it and we start that turn, I also want you to descend the airplane back down to about 2,000 feet.
Okay.
So that's going to be pitch, power, trim, right? So you're going to pitch the airplane for a descent. You're going to bring the power out. Oh, let's hold like a 90 knots. So let's just descend, 500 feet a minute, about 90 knots. So just bring the power out until that. It's going to be about 1,700 RPM or so.
Vector 348 Delta, stay request.
And you'll start that left turn, coordinated left turn towards the lake. You can do it now.
448 Delta, you want the ILS 10 circle to 28.
Good. Beautiful.
For 348 Delta, I have your request.
We'd like to terminate.
For now, Papa Radar Service terminates Class VFR frequency change approved. Good day.
Dr. Way home, thanks now.
Southwest 573, the field's 10 o'clock, 15 miles. Southwest 573.
And just point right at the lake, and then we'll level off about 2,000 feet.
Power on 124.57, 180 to the marker.
That's good. Let's point right at the lake, level those wings out. Good. Try to relax your grip on the yoke a little bit. Try to sit straight up and down in the seat. Lean back, relax. Try to fly casual. Try not to let your body tense up too much.
For 277 Gulf Tango Milwaukee approach, block 4677, say request.
4677, I would like to shoot an approach at West Bend, the area nav 31.
For 7 Gulf Tango, roger, thank you.
When we get to about 50 feet before, you can start the level off, the pitch, power, trim procedure.
Vector for the RNAV 31.
Okay, direct high bin and for the procedure, RNAV 31, San Gulf Tango.
Back up to 2,200 RPM. Pitch for level flight, 2,200 RPM.
Colony 434.
Remember that nose is going to come up when you get that power where you want it.
2,200
RPM, level flight. A little more power, there it is. And then use your muscles to fly for a little bit. Don't worry about the trim until you've got the airplane kind of stabilized, and then come and trim off the pressures.
Alright, it's Cessna 172, and we'll do a touch and go, and then come back to Timmerman and do the localizer 15 left, 7 Golf Tango.
Sounds good, thank you.
All right, let's go straight southbound now. So just roll straight southbound. The 15-degree bank or so coordinated. That's very good. Neutralize the ailerons off the rudder. I'm gonna roll straight south.
Heading is 190 short vector for traffic.
190.
And let's level the wings. That's good enough. I'm just kind of eyeballing it.
VFR at 3,000.
And now I want you to pitch power trim, and I want you to do it climbing 70-knot turn, full power, back up to 3,000, and we're just going to go back to the south. So it's going to be a 180-degree turn, back to the north, rather.
Okay.
So pitch up for a climb, start the airplane climbing. Full power, adjust the pitch for 70 knots, all the power. All the power, all the power, all the power, all the way forward, all the power. There you go, good. 70 knots, pitch, remember that right rudder, right?
Envoy 37.
And now add a little more right rudder and a little right bank, and we're going to turn around 180 degrees. Get that ball in the middle, that ball's way out. There it is, 70 knots, got to pitch the nose up. 70 knot climb, so pitch up for 70 knots. See how we're getting fast? There you go. Don't chase it, just make a small change so we're trending. Try to start to get a feel for the sight picture, right?
Yeah.
VFR, right downwind for 25 right and back on
Like
course.
right about there is all you need on the bank. About 10-degree bank, that's that first white tick mark. The steeper you bank, the harder it is to climb.
4,500.
If you notice that, when we do steeper the bank, the nose drops and you have to use more back pressure.
Right turn 320, 2 Charlie Golf.
Number 4 Bravo, Bravo, just set and maintain 4,000. Southwest 1069, the field.
Stay with it. Don't let it overbank. Yeah, chase it, right?
Southwest 1069,
There you go.
clear visual.
And we're at 3,000, so level the wings, pitch,
Good day.
power, back 2,200 RPM. Muscle it where you want it, fly the airplane with your muscles, and then trim it off. Put that nose down for level flight. Stay on the north heading, 360.
4 Bravo, Bravo, amend your altitude to maintain 5,000. Number 7 Golf Tango, you're 1 mile from Hyben.
Try to look out the front of the airplane and get a gauge for the distance between the cowl here and the horizon. That distance is going to be the sight picture for level flight for you. Once this isn't moving, whatever that looks like is your sight picture. If it grows, you're going to descend. See how even that much you're going to descend.
Yeah.
If it shrinks even that much, you're going to climb. So you need to start learning to look out there and really try to keep that as pinpointed and accurate as you can.
24.57.
All right, we're going to do a descending turn to the left now. So pitch power trim, we're going to do that 90-knot descent again.
Number 2 Charlie Golf.
Bring the power back, maybe about 1,800 RPM or so, and we're going to do a coordinated left turn back to the south.
Hey, right turn 030, 2 Charlie Golf.
Number 4 Bravo, Bravo, descend and maintain 4,000.
All right, there it is. That's a little too much power, about 1,800 RPM. Bring the power back up and start a left turn. Left turn to the south. Coordinated. Right there is about all you need on the bank. Good. And you're just kind of managing your pitch for 90 knots. If you're getting fast, just pitch up a little bit. One thing I'm looking for out here is other airplanes, right? When we start these maneuvers, we're turning left and right. I'm kind of scanning the sky, making sure there's nobody out there we're going to hit, because we're not talking to her anymore, technically. I'm still listening to her.
Number 48 Delta traffic, 11 o'clock and 1 mile. Southbound altitude 3,000, additional traffic. 12 o'clock, 2 miles, maneuvering altitude 4,700.
All the way around to the south. 2,000 feet is the target. If you get to the heading before the altitude, we'll just keep the descent going. If you get to the target altitude before the turn is done, we'll just level off.
Bravo radar service terminated, contact Watchtower on 123.7. Good day. Number 2 Charlie Golf, you can resume on navigation.
2 Charlie Golf.
Slowly starting to feel the airplane. Good. Yeah, you're doing a nice job. Alright, we'll level the wings because we're done with the turn, but we'll still keep coming down to 2,000 feet. Once you get down there, pitch power trim to level off. see how that grew quite a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that means we're gonna accelerate pretty rapidly, right? So you either need to bring some power back or pitch up a little bit to stop that rapid descent. There's 2,000, so pitch to stop the descent. Get right back to level flight, and power comes in now. 2200 RPM, get that power up right away. Hold the nose where you want it, we're still descending. That level flight attitude, good. Or off. Good. And you can hold that nose where you want it. As soon as you go to that trim wheel, the nose drops, right? So you need to hold it where you want it and trim the pressure off. Good. All right, right turn. Climbing back up to 3,000, back to the north. Pitch, full power. Right rudder for torque, keep that ball in the middle. Right about there is all the bank you need, keep the ball in the middle, 70 knot climb. Yeah, you need some footwork, right? There it is. Small airplanes can't climb and turn well at the same time. The more bank angle you have, the heavier they get, and the less power you have available for the climb. So shallower banks are better in the climb, small airplanes. Now if we were in a fighter jet, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
You got way more power than airplane. Good, so we're done with the turn, we're on that north heading. So level the wings, but you're still in the climb, so you got to get that ball in the middle though, because we still want to go up to 3,000 feet, right? So we stop the turn, but we keep the climb coming because we want to come up to 3,000. So that's what I was saying down earlier. If you get to the altitude first, stop the climb, but keep the turn coming, right? If you get to the turn first, stop the turn, but keep the climb coming. There's 3,000. You can start the level off pitch. Power to 2,200. Once you got the sight picture, you can trim it out. Excellent. How's that feel? Pretty good.
Yeah, good.
We'll dial it in a little bit more.
Yeah.
I have the controls. You can relax for a little bit. You're doing a really nice job.
Okay.
Yeah, really nice job. I mean, in less than day two, I can feel like you're already kind of settling into the airplane a little bit, which is really good to see. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to demonstrate slow flight. So just kind of come up on the yoke with me and feel the airplane. Feel like the responsiveness of the ailerons here. Feel the responsiveness of the elevator here. Well, we have airspeed right now, so the faster we go through the air, the more responsive the controls are, right?
Yes.
If we slow down, they become a lot mushier because the airflow isn't going over the control surfaces as quickly. You don't have as much control force, right?
Yes.
So you need more control input to do the same amount of maneuvering when you're slow in an airplane. So I'm going to demonstrate that. So I'm going to turn here to the left. I'm just kind of making sure there's no other airplanes out here. And it is bumpier up here at 3,000, so I may come down to like 2,500 to see if we can find some smoother air for this, because it'll just be easier. So I'm just going to kind of nudge us down. Try to get out of the chop a little bit. Try to not be in the sun too much. Fastest. Maybe this heading would be good. All right. Go a little southeast. Okay. So we're in cruise flight. We're 2,200 feet, 2,200 RPM, 2,600 feet. We're trimmed. We're level, right?
Yep.
I'm going to demonstrate that we can also fly this airplane at 60 knots at 2,200 RPM at 2,600.
Okay.
So I'm going to slow the airplane down. To slow down, I'm going to, its pitch and power are going to happen together. So I'm still changing attitudes, right? So as I bring power back, what do you think the nose is going to do?
Go down?
Yeah, so I don't want that to happen, right?
Yeah.
So I'm holding the nose up as I bring power back. What do you think is going to happen to our airspeed?
Slow down.
Yeah, is our altitude going to change if I keep bringing the nose up?
No.
No, right? And I don't want it to. I want to stay at 2,600 feet while I slow down, right?
Yes.
I'm just taking the power out. Slow the airplane down. I want to get to about 60 knots. I'm going to bring in one flap here that's going to help us stay up here. Help us slow down. There's 60 knots. Well, now what happens if I just hold the nose here? And what if I pitch for 60 knots? Do you think we're going to stay up at 2,600 feet? If I just hold 60 knots with the pitch? What's happening?
We're losing altitude.
We're losing altitude. How do you think we stay up here?
More power.
Exactly. Guess what? But look at the pitch attitude of the airplane now. Kind of like a snowplow, right?
Yeah.
The airplane's dragging through the air more. It's, instead of like streamlined like this, the airplane's now up and down like this, right?
Yeah.
So we are exposing more of the surface area of the wings, more of the surface area of the nose to the air, and that's just kind of plowing us through. So we need more power to keep the airplane up here in this attitude. But we've changed from 100 knots to 60 knots, right?
Yeah.
The only difference is the pitch attitude of the airplane, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, I just slow us down a little bit. Now you have the controls. I want you to feel the change in the yoke in the controls. Feel that? Not as responsive at all, is it?
No.
No, right? It's mushier.
Yeah.
So the slower you get, the mushier they get. If we were to go down to 50 knots, it'd be even mushier still.
Yeah.
Now the other thing, you know in the climb when we have to have right rudder?
Yes.
Well, because the nose is pitched up, we have high power, the propeller's spinning that way. Well, slow flight is actually the same thing. So you actually need a little right rudder in slow flight to keep the airplane coordinated. So you'd have a pitch up, try to hold that 60 knots. I'm going to adjust the power for you. And let's do some turns in this slow flight. Let's just do those normal 10-degree bank. That's that first white mark there. Keep it coordinated. Try to stay at 60 knots on the pitch. Feels a little mushier, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you need more input to kind of keep that airplane where you want. It's not dangerous or bad, it's just different, right?
Yeah.
It's just a different control feel. But let's just roll straight around to the west and then we'll reverse that and we'll do a left turn to the... Excellent. I'll roll out on the west heading here. That's good. Roll those wings level. Stop the airplane from turning. Watch your speed. Now we're getting slow. That nose down to get 60. It's all about pitch now. Keep your hand on the throttle because the throttle is going to kind of control our altitude in slow flight. So pitch controls your airspeed. Power controls your altitude. So pitch for 60. Power is just going to keep us here. We'll stay at 2,800, right? Don't let it get too slow. Now I want you to roll it into that left turn. But keep that ball in the middle while you're doing this. Nose needs to come down a little bit to hold 60. Try to keep the ball in the middle with your feet, right? If the ball's right, you step right. If the ball's left, you step... Yeah, and you don't need much more than this in slow flight. This is a good bank angle. 10 degrees or so. What do you think this corresponds to in terms of a necessary skill in flying an airplane?
How do you mean?
What do you think we use slow flight for besides just plowing around here in 28? When is the airplane going to be in a slow flight regime?
Landing?
Yeah, and takeoff, right?
Yeah.
You're going to slow the airplane down for landing, but you're also in slow flight immediately after takeoff when the control forces are mushy. There's a high pitch attitude, a lot of power on the airplane. We need to stay coordinated, right?
Yeah.
So this is something that actually enforces and builds our skill in takeoff and landing, controlling the airplane speeds. So we're going to stay on the south heading here, and now what I want you to do is I want you to go back to normal cruise flight. So just start adding the power back up to 2,200 RPM. Try to stay up here at 28, 2,900 feet. So pitch controls the airspeed, so 2,200 RPM. So I want you to start accelerating the airplane. So nose down to accelerate. And let's take the flaps off the airplane. Bring them back up. And feel what happens. Try to adjust, right? Try to stay at 2,900, see? So now we haven't really changed anything. We've added a little power, but we took the flaps out, reduced the drag. Now the airplane is speeding. It's going to be about 90 in cruise, right? Alrighty. Let's turn around. Let's do a left turn. Normal cruise turn. We'll stay at 3,000 feet. 90 knots or so, 2,200 RPM. We're gonna go to the north, and then I'm gonna have you slow the airplane down. Coming around to the north. Try to stay at 3,000 feet. Kind of nudging 3,100. We can do a little more bank. We can do like 15. We're right about 5. There's 15. 10 degrees for slow flight and climbs. About 15 for cruise. That's a good starting point. You see Lake Muskego out there under the left wing? Let's just kind of point towards that again. Good. Try to nudge her back down to 3,000. Alright. Now, when we're pointed at the lake here, I want you to slow the airplane down. So what you're going to do is just bring the power back and try to maintain altitude with pitch for now. When you get in the white arc on the airspeed, you can bring in 1 notch of flaps here. That's going to help you slow down. Thumb and forefinger on the flaps. 1 notch down. Good. Now try to hold your altitude. It's going to want to balloon a little bit. Push down to hold altitude. Keep bringing the power back. Now when you get to 60, you're going to add the power. You're going to pitch for 60 and you're going to add the power in to stay at 3,000 now. Alright, so pitch for 60 and hold 60. And if you need power, just adjust power to stay at altitude. You may or may not need power. It just depends on the atmospheric conditions and the weight of the airplane, etc. Yeah, it started to trend down a little bit, so you may need to add a little bit of power in to stay up here, maybe a couple hundred RPM. But yeah, you did the right thing. You reached down for the trim now, right? So now you can actually trim the airplane so you don't have to put a lot of pressure here. See how you're getting kind of slow? Just nose down for 60. Getting a little slow. I want to be right around 60, right around 55 now, which is okay too. 60 is the target right now. Sure. All right. And let's do a gentle left turn to the straight west heading. Keep that ball in the middle. Remember, when the power comes up with the nose up, you need right rudder, even in the left turn. No more than about 10 degrees of bank. Watch that pitch attitude. Get that nose down. See how slow? Nose needs to come down, right? You don't need it power because you're actually climbing. You traded altitude for airspeed, right? Or altitude for airspeed. You lost 5 knots and gained 100 feet. Yeah, let's keep coming around to the south in the left turn here. Try to keep the ball in the middle with your feet. Really watch that airspeed. See how that airspeed's slowing down and you're still climbing? You should take some power out. Good. You know banner towers?
What?
You know banner towing? Like people that tow banners around in airplanes?
Yeah.
That's what these guys do all day long. Their airplanes. They sit around about 55 knots, their flaps down, with no shoes on and beach shorts and fly up and down the Florida beaches towing banners for like hours a day.
Yeah. The good money?
I don't think so. It's good time building.
Yeah.
Cool, once we're on the south heading, I'll have you roll the airplane back around to north, to the right. Do a right turn, clear to the right. Try to keep the ball in the middle, stay up here at 3,100 feet, 60 knots.
Roll to the right?
Yep, 10-degree bank or so, that's that first white tick mark there. That's the sight picture you're looking for. It's over banking a little bit. You're almost at 20 degrees. Try to manage that. Try not to let it dip into that banking tendency. We'll talk about why that happens on the ground, but basically, the wingtips are drawing a circle. That in the right bank, the inner wing is traveling slower than the outer wing.
Yep.
The outer wing traveling faster means it has more lift than the inner wing, and it actually wants to roll the airplane over.
Okay.
Cool, we'll roll out on the north heading here. Nice job, I have the airplane. I'm going to demonstrate what happens when we run out of airspeed completely. This is called a power off stall. I'm just going to demonstrate it today. You can try one if you want, but there's nothing to these. Basically what happens is we're in slow flight, and if you pull back enough, if you take the power out, pull back enough, you run out of airspeed, and then the wing doesn't have enough lift to fly anymore, right?
Yes.
So just bring the power back, and I'm just going to kind of hold the airplane up here at 3,100 feet. You're going to get a warning horn, because that's just the wing. That's that port you check during the pre-flight. That's why we make sure that's clear, because we want this warning horn to go off. So I'm bleeding all the airspeed off. There's the horn. And once we get the brake, there's the stall. And then you just lower the nose, you add full power, and you hold the nose down so that it starts flying again. That was a stall.
Cool.
Yeah, you want to try one?
Yeah, let's do
Okay,
it.
alright. I'm going to let's get down a little bit
Okay.
so it's not as bumpy. We'll go straight west.
Do I have to do anything with the fuel mixture?
No, we'll leave that rich.
Okay.
Obviously I had it out a little too much because it kind of coughed in there for a second. The thing in the stall that I want you to really pay attention to is stalls are not inherently dangerous at all. They're really just a flying maneuver. In fact, the wing is still developing lift in a stall, it's just not enough to keep flying, right?
Yeah.
What is dangerous about stalls is when you let them develop and you're not coordinated,
Yeah.
then the aircraft can actually do what's called a spin. And that's dangerous because the airplane rolls over on multiple axes and it's out of control and you lose a lot of altitude in a very quick amount of time. You can recover from them when you have enough altitude, but you can't recover from them when you don't have enough altitude. And they're fatal when they happen close to the ground and you're not expecting it. So we practice stalls not only to develop your full control of the airplane, because you're going to try to stall the airplane on landing, but also to learn how learn what the airplane feels like when it's approaching a stall and how to prevent stalls, right?
Okay.
So you have the controls. So I want you to stay up here at 2,800 feet, and I just want you to start bleeding during the power slowly to idle and try to hold altitude. What I want you to do is look outside the airplane, kind of to the left, and try to keep the airplane straight with the rudder and keep the wings level, just nice and easy with the aileron, all right? Just keep the wings level with the rudder, so use those feet, right?
Yep.
Just kind of, if the wing dips right, I want you to use left rudder. If the wing dips left, I want you to use right rudder.
I'm going all the way to
Idle,
idle.
yep. Now hold that back. Now start pitching up. Good. Now keep your feet moving, right? So we're just kind of keeping the nose. We don't want the nose to slide left or slide right. We want the nose to stay straight ahead. That's really what we're looking for, right? Keep pulling back, keep pulling back. Pulling back, and when we recover, we're going to just push the nose down gently and add full power, nice and smooth. There's the warning. There's the warning. And we're going to bring the nose all the way back. There it is. Push forward. Right there. All the power, all the power, all the power. Got to bring the power in, right? And hold the nose here. When you add the power, the nose wants to come up.
Yes.
But you can't delay on the power, right? So.
Okay.
And now you're back into flying. Now you can bring the power back to 2,200 RPM, back to level flight, right? 2,200 RPM. Just want to be a little more assertive on the power additions and subtractions. So, all right, let's roll to the. Let's go to south. left turn to the south, clear south. I don't see any other airplanes out there. We'll do one more and we'll head back.
Okay.
Nothing to them, right?
No.
In the recovery, so the things I want you to take away from the stalls is you need to keep the nose from sliding left or right with the rudder. You need to keep the wings relatively level, but really it's more important to stay on the rudder. And the recovery, you just lower the nose slightly past the horizon, full power, and hold the nose below the horizon. You don't need to like float it like that, like some people do.
Yeah.
You just need to kind of lower it like this, full power, and then add, and then just hold it there and get the airspeed back up.
And what if you don't add power? Wouldn't it be fine?
Yeah, but it would delay the recovery.
It would, okay.
Yeah, and you want to develop the muscle memory to recover with full power because the stall happens close to the ground, you don't add power, you're going to delay the recovery and it might not work for you. So stay here at 23 and let's bring the power back. Hold up, hold that nose up, try to hold that altitude. Lead it off. I'll give you a little flap here. Stay on the rudder. Rudder, your feet should be just keeping the nose straight ahead, right? You're kind of looking out to the left side here to keep the nose from sliding left or right. A little bit of aileron's okay, but really it's more rudder. Right? You don't want to step on a left or right rudder hard because that's how you spin, right? All the way back till we get the buffet. You feel the airplane kind of shimmy or shudder a little bit?
Yeah.
There it is. Now recover. That's too much, see? Full
All
power,
right,
full
yeah.
power, full power. Audit the power in. A lot of people do that right away. And if we let go of the yoke, what happens? Boom. So you got to hold it right about there, right?
Yeah.
Flaps up. So we'll do more of these next time, but that's just kind of the takeaway there. So
Yeah, I
it's
push
easy to
forward
do,
too
right?
much.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't. It's not necessarily bad to do, but it's unnecessary.
Okay.
Let's stay here at 2,200 feet. You've got the airplane. You can bring the power back 2,200 RPM. Let's kind of just turn towards Mitchell there. There should be off about 3 o'clock. 9 o'clock. So you can keep the left turn in. It's going to be a heading of maybe 060 degrees on that.
Temperature -1.
You can go about 15 degree bank. That's between those two white marks. Right about there, yep.
Visual approach runway 25 left. Landing runway 25 left.
2,200 RPM or so. We'll lean the mixture out a little
runway
bit.
25 left, 25 right. Simultaneous operation to parallel runways in use. GTWR out of service. Transponders required to be on while operating on runways and taxiways. Bird activity vicinity airport. All aircraft read back all hold short instructions while taxiing departing aircraft remain on ground control frequency until advised. Advise on initial contact. You have information Delta.
We have Delta now. Let's see what they're saying about Delta.
Milwaukee Mitchell Airport HS information Delta 1752 Zulu. Wind 310 at 16, gust 25. Visibility 10. Sky clear below 12,000. Temperature -1. Dew point -10. Altimeter 3001. Visual approach runway 25 left. Landing runway 25 left, 25 right. Departing runway 25 left,
Okay.
25 right.
So, the wind is out of 310 now. It's 16 gusting to 26. It's pretty stiff. So it's not gonna. I would, don't expect these to be great. We're gonna have a crosswind landing with a strong wind, so I'm gonna help you with it. But we'll still talk about what we're doing.
Offset forward 2 heavy mark.
Do you see Mitchell Field, that patch out there? There's downtown. Mitchell's kind of the patch on the water over there.
Yes.
We're gonna kind of point towards. We're gonna kind of go to the right. The left side of it. We're gonna kind of come around the north side. 'Cause we're gonna do the same pattern we did yesterday coming in.
Okay.
And I'm gonna call him up. In fact, if you want to call him, you could. Otherwise, I can do it. But we're about 12 to the southwest inbound for landing.
So I say
Delta. So it'll be Milwaukee approach Cessna 739 at Alpha Papa. Is 12 west inbound for landing.
why don't you get this one?
Okay. Milwaukee approach Cessna 739 or Alpha Papa. 12 west inbound full stop with Delta.
Cessna 9 Alpha Papa squawk 4623.
4623 and we're 12 southwest. Thanks.
Thank you. 9 Alpha Papa, see direct Greenfield tank.
Proceed redirect the tank, 9 Alpha Papa. Alright, the Greenfield tank is that little white water tower out there. You see it kind of about 12 o'clock?
You said Greenfield tank?
Yep.
Why?
He's just gonna get us oriented for right traffic for 25 right. So let's track towards that tank.
Yes.
So let's find a heading that sets up a course so that we're drawing a straight line to that tank. The wind is out of here right now, so it's actually pushing us back this way. So we actually need to point a little bit left to track to that tank. I can already see we're going to the left of it, or to the right of it, so we want to actually point left.
Okay. So about right.
Yeah, just try to find that heading that tracks direct to the landmark.
Okay.
That's a very basic skill for just basic visual flying. When you start doing your own navigation to your cross countries and stuff or other airports, that's really all you're going to be doing is kind of point and shoot, right?
Yep.
You'll have a knowledge of the wind direction the wind's coming out of, but it changes as you go across the land, so.
Falcon 302, Mike Wein, Milwaukee departure radar contact, get right back to you. Set 42, Heavy Chicago Center 125.1, good day.
So what frequency are we going to need next?
Yep, 25
Tower? Tower. 25.
Scout 39, Milwaukee Bristol 3002, after Cheddar, send and maintain 13,000.
Let's stay here at 3,000.
348 Delta radar service, terminated contact, Waukesha Tower.
Kind of crept up a little bit since we started out this way, that's okay. Try to manage it.
What did? Altitude?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably gonna get some chop as we get closer. It's alright, just stay with it.
Flight 196 Alpha Hotel, Milwaukee Approach, Terminal 3002, descend and maintain 4,000, expect vision approach 25 left. Falcon 2, Mike Lima, C-Direct, perfect climb via the SID, except maintain 13,000.
Really 2 gorgeous days for flight training though.
Yeah, lucked out.
It's been a long time since we've had weather like this.
Yeah, we waited for weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then tomorrow's I think going to be like 3 degrees.
Yeah.
So, perfect 2 days.
Yep, full Milwaukee departure, U1.
And just trying to draw a straight line between you and the landmark along the ground.
Yeah.
Another trick you can use is pick some landmarks between you and the destination that form a straight line, and then try to fly over them, right?
Yes, that makes sense.
So like even right down here, see that like subdivision straight ahead under the wing or under the nose?
Yes.
Maybe try to point right at that to start with. That's easier to see that you're getting drift, right?
Yeah.
Because it's closer to the airplane. So then you can use that to adjust your heading.
Okay.
So yeah, if you look close to the nose, you can see that we're going to the right, right? Yes. So just change your heading about 5 degrees, so a little left rudder, left aileron, and then wings level, and now you've changed your heading to track.
Okay, I wasn't doing enough.
Yeah. Hotel contact, Milwaukee Approach 1.
Yeah, that's part of the development up here, is just like learning that type of that correction that's necessary for different.
9 Alpha pop up from the Greenfield tank and right downwind for 25 right and contact tower.
Alright, right downwind 25 right from the tank to local 9 Alpha pop up. Alright, so
City 54% on course.
he said once we get to the tank, we're going to enter the right traffic for 25 right, which basically we'll talk about that, but that's what we did yesterday. Just going to stay on the right side of the runway and then turn around and land.
Okay.
The wind is strong up here today. It's probably 30, 35 knots, so a lot of correction is necessary, so even a little bit more to the left.
Okay.
In the winter, stronger winds are typical. So, how far would you say we are from that tank right now, if you were just to spitball?
What tank?
That white water tank on the ground. That's what we're flying towards.
3 miles?
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. I'd say about 3, yeah. Or about 5 miles from Mitchell.
Really?
Yeah.
It kind of seems like Mitchell is a little closer.
Yeah, it's because the runways kind of stretch out a little bit longer towards the land itself is. We might be 3 miles from the perimeter, but we're 5 miles from the center.
Okay,
yeah.
I see.
Base 153, direction OSA, descend and maintain 6,000.
But the Greenfield tank is actually 6 miles from the airport.
Okay.
Night Cargo 007, sorry about that. You can squawk 4625.
Milwaukee Tower, Cessna 739 Alpha Papa order 5 west of the field will be entering right down 125 right.
Cessna Alpha Papa, enter right down 25 right, we're on a 25 right, clear lane, traffic 20%.
Alright, clear land 25 right, parallel traffic for 9 Alpha. So we'll kind of roll towards right downwind, what we call this, for the runway. You have the runway in sight?
Yep.
Alright. Yeah. Like a good time to put it on the ground. So between here and there, we want us to descend down to 1,700 feet. The airport elevation averages about 700 feet above sea level, right?
Okay.
We're going to come down to 1,700 feet above sea level, which puts us 1,000 feet above the airport.
Okay.
That's the standard altitude you want to be in for landing when you're in that traffic pattern, we call it.
Okay.
So we'll start on down. You can bring the carb heat on. We're going to do that before we descend, so pull that all the way on. Yep. Now you can just kind of start getting us down to about 1,700 feet.
And this carb heat again?
That prevents icing in the carburetor. It's just a precaution.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about it on the ground.
Okay.
Air Wisconsin 3731, Milwaukee Tower, fly runway heading runway 25.
So this is really only in the winter?
No, you can get carburetor icing in the summer too, actually, but it's actually possible at a lot of wide range of temperatures and moisture.
Okay.
It's just due to the design of the carburetor.
Yep.
The air actually reduces through a Venturi tube, and when the tube that the air is flowing through narrows, it causes the air to speed up, and when a fluid increases velocity, it actually cools down. And so if there's enough moisture, sometimes it can cool down below its freezing point, and then moisture can build up and actually block airflow.
Okay.
And so that prevents it by putting warm air through it.
So do you always do this on landing?
It's a good idea, yep.
Okay.
I'll always do the carb heat. See our airspeed's way up near 110? I want to bring that back. Let's bring the power back maybe 1,800 RPM. Try to pitch up a little bit to slow that airplane down. And you'll still be descending, but we don't want to rock it down at 110 knots. And actually, you know, driving down a bumpy road at 60 miles an hour versus 20 miles an hour, if it's bumpy, slowing down is going to make the ride more comfortable. And we are clear to land. So do you have the runway in sight?
Yes.
Landing this way.
Yes.
When we get opposite the numbers, we're going to level off at 1,700 first. So you're going to pitch up. Remember, the lake is the horizon now.
Turn left.
Yes.
1,700 RPM or so here. We want to be about 85 knots. Or I'm sorry, about 2,000 RPM. Good. Rich in the mixture. Good. Try to hold about 1,650 or 1,700 feet of altitude, about 85 knots. The pitch is going to be your altitude. Power is going to be your airspeed right now. When you get opposite those numbers right about now, I'm going to have you bring the power to 1,500 RPM. Bring the power back right about now. Now hold the pitch attitude until the airplane gets to about 70 knots. You can add a notch of flaps here.
Right now?
Yep. There's
Right.
70. Now to hold 70 on the pitch. And look at the runway. Does it look like it's starting to move back and up in the window?
Yes.
That's an indication you should start your turn. So we're going to turn our base leg, we call this. This could be a little steeper, about 20 or 30 degrees of bank. Hold 70 knots on the pitch. Bring the power up about 1,500 RPM.
2-1.
And we're going to square off, so we're going to just fly 90 degrees here. And we're going to do one more flap. About 70 knots, so pitch down to hold 70. Then when you feel like we're intercepting the final approach course, you can roll final, hold 70. There, turn final. The ball in the middle. A steeper bank, the wind is pushing us right now towards that runway, right? So we actually need to steepen our bank to stay on the center line. Now the wind is going to be out of here, so you're going to clearly see now that whole tracking concept we kind of talked about up there, right?
Yes.
You actually need to point this way. So bring the power back now. Let's do one more notch of flap.
Tower Pilatus 196 up until we need for 25 left.
Hold 70 knots, you're going to push down. The flaps add a drag, so we actually have to push down to hold 70, which helps us get down, right?
Yes.
Clear line 6 up until.
And when we get down there towards the end of the runway, or towards the approach end here, we're going to add some left rudder to straighten the nose, and we're going to add a little right wing to kind of keep us from drifting. There we go, like that. Power to idle now, and look at the end of the runway and hold it off. Just try not to let it touch, try not to let it touch. Try not to let it touch. Good. And then now we're back to taxi. Straight, try to taxi right down the middle of the runway. You can reach up and grab those brakes and slow it down nice and gentle. And we'll try to make this right turn off here. You have the controls.
Cessna 9 Alpha Papa, turn right on Echo and ground point.
Right turn here, ground point 8, 9 Alpha Papa, thanks. And we're gonna stop once we get past this whole short line.
Visual 25 left.
Clear wings.
Past the line.
Past this one?
Yeah, you can kind of do a little left turn here because they're gonna clear us through. And we're gonna stop right here. Pull out that checklist. And we're gonna do the after landing checklist. Flaps.
Flaps are up.
Yep. Carb heat off. And then we're just gonna skip all that. We're gonna go mixture about an inch. That's it. And now you can call ground, or I'll call them, and we'll just say, Milwaukee ground, 739 Alpha Papa is on Echo 2 signature.
Cessna 9 Alpha Papa, Milwaukee ground, taxi signature via Zulu Foxtrot.
Zulu Foxtrot to signature, 9 Alpha Papa.
Okay, so this one's Zulu.
Yep.
Foxtrot's the next one.
Yep. Starting to make sense, right? It's kind of the same. It's daunting at first, but the more exposure we do this, it's all like, it's standard, right?
Yeah.
Standardized. So it's just getting comfortable with the standard.